Now, what was Muhammad? Muhammad was a pilot. He was the one who would guide caravans across the desert. I mean, you can't cross the desert without a pilot, just as you can't sail the sea without somebody who knows where the waves are and where the currents are and where the winds are coming from. I mean, a pilot is essential in certain situations. Muhammad was a pilot. He would conduct caravans from Mecca to Medina. This was his regular route. So he would conduct caravans from Mecca to Medina, that's a 6-day travel, and back, so you already are close to 2 weeks. In the meantime, you settle for the night, you stop for the night, or even if you're going, you know, they might have traveled at night because it was cooler. In any event, you have this company of hundreds of men traveling, and the pilot is the one who is guiding them. And then coming back to Mecca, he sees thousands and thousands of people sitting around and talking, and he's listening. And Muhammad was very intelligent. And he heard the Jews talking, and he heard the Christians talking, and he began to gather information, both from the Jews and from the Christians, and he began to understand the significance of some of these ideas, and gradually he became inspired with these concepts. Muhammad was like most of what he calls in Arabic jahiliyyah. That means a period of darkness, of lack of understanding, a period of ignorance. Jahiliyyah means that, it means ignorance. Muhammad, from his overhearing and listening to the Jews and the Christians, began to develop ideas which now became rather universal. Namely, they're talking about a God, creator of heaven and earth, the God of justice, the moral judge who is ruler over the whole world. There are many elements in Judaism which he understood and grasped and absorbed and took to be very fundamental. There were elements of Christianity that he saw were similar to Judaism, didn't quite see the great difference, although he saw things about Christianity which he said, that's a denial of true monotheism. And this is something he understood. The concept of monotheism, one God, creator of heaven and earth, and the judge of all the earth, that was very clear to him, and this is what he expresses when he begins to speak. The idea of the Trinity is something he couldn't understand, and he couldn't accept that. Strangely, the idea of the virgin birth he does accept, because he says, well, the virgin birth is a miracle. God can do miracles, so what's the big deal? But it doesn't mean anything to him. It doesn't have the significance that it has in Christianity. But you can see he picked up ideas from Christianity and Judaism. Now, he's inspired, and he begins to speak and to preach. By the way, the Muslims claim, this is a principle of faith, that Muhammad was illiterate. He couldn't read or write. That's perfectly all right, even if it's true. I mean, let's assume. The fact that a person is illiterate doesn't mean that he can't be a wonderful speaker. It doesn't mean that he can't have interesting ideas. Muhammad then claimed that he was speaking the words that God was giving him, that he was receiving a revelation, and the revelation was brought to him in written form by the angel Gabriel, who brought it down from heaven and gave it to him. Now, this is how, according to Islam, how the Koran came to be. Now, what is the Koran? The Koran is a collection of Muhammad's speeches. They are brilliant. There are many ideas there that are very profound and ideas which are very simple but easily understandable. God, creator of heaven and earth, God, the judge of all mankind, that there will be a day of judgment. Heaven and hell, of course, exist. And then people must act out their religion. Now, here's another interesting feature. Jews and Christians are there. The Christians have priests. The priests conduct their daily masses and their rituals and their Torah reading and their Torah interpretation and their sermons. And of course, these evening sessions of what I would call midrash, namely talking about the Torah and interpreting it. Now, Muhammad seemed to have absorbed this because he tells many stories in his speeches which are taken from the midrash. But he tries to combine them all into his vision, his general vision of what is the revelation that God is giving him. Now, he has the following approach to it. In this way, he borrows something from Christianity. Christianity maintains that everything from the beginning of creation is part of a divine plan. And Christianity maintains that God revealed himself to the people of Israel with the intention of eventually granting all humanity salvation and eternal life through belief in the resurrection of Jesus Christ. I mean, this is basic Christianity. Now, all the stories of the Bible, of the Jewish Bible, are read by the Christians as leading towards the fulfillment of the New Testament. I think this is the way they see the Bible. They call the Jewish Bible, the Hebrew Bible, promise, and the New Testament, fulfillment. So this is the Christian perspective. The very beginning of humanity, let's say the story of the Garden of Eden, the taking the fruit of the tree of knowledge, this is so significant in Christianity because this to them represents man's falling from the original state of pure grace to the state of sin in which human beings live until they will get salvation through Christ, which was promised by the prophets. I mean, this is Christianity, simply put. Now, to the Christians, the Torah is God's original revelation, but it only leads to the New Testament. Not only that, but in Christianity, the New Testament fulfills the Torah and replaces it. So Christianity maintains that it has superseded Judaism. It will not reject Judaism. Judaism is essential to Christianity, and all the church fathers have made this very clear, that the Old Testament, the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament, is basic to Christianity because it predicts what will take place in the New Testament. And so the Old Testament, to use the Christian term, is the foundation, the New Testament stands above it, and then Jesus Christ is standing on top. So this is the Christian view. But Christianity maintains that it is the true Israel. It has replaced Israel. And according to Christianity, many Christians, there's no possibility of what they call salvation outside of the church.